Who's joining us for News Review this morning? Dr. Joshua Jebuti Zato. He's Senior Lecturer, Policy and Political Analyst at the Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, Legon. We also have Nelson Kofi Jabab. He's Member of Parliament for Karachi East constituency, and of course our very own Afel Moni, former President of the GJA. And he's in studio with me this morning. So good morning, Mr. Moni.
Good morning, sweetie.
How are you?
Fine. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Yesterday we went to the polls.
Certainly, yes.
I won't know what you made of the outcomes. It looks like we retained Albert Jumfo. But Rebecca Ekpe, who we interviewed on the AM show, is now the Vice President
yes.
of GJA.
That's
Let's
a
get
very
some
high
reflections
elevation.
on that.
Yeah. So I'll seize the opportunity to indulge Sami JP in particular and those who keep our gold resources to fetch a substantial quantity to sprinkle on Albert Kwabena for retaining his seat as president. He also mentioned Rebecca Ekpe, my mentee. So
she's your mentee?
Yes, Rebecca is my mentee and my daughter. And Rebecca has been elevated from the organizing secretary to the vice president. I believe she's eyeing the presidency, and it's a matter of time. I believe with the confluence of time, Rebecca can assume the presidency. Better Bidu AJ, treasurer, and Zadok is now the organizing secretary. We also have Dominic Clorgy from organizer to the general secretary. And the general secretary, is the nerve center of GJ activities. So congratulations to all those who made it yesterday.
Okay.
And I think we also need to salute the candidate who challenged for Charles Mausi. Indeed, he put up a cut and thrust performance, given the limited time frame he had to cause an upset. But GJ elections, follow a different pattern. It's not about not necessarily about your linguistic mastery or vision, but the dynamics are different. The best repeating. And let me say that the victory for Albert Jumfo did not come as a fluke. It's not a flash in the pan. Albert went into the election with an incumbency advantage, and a huge one, and he benefited maximally from name recognition. His name has been all over the place, having been exposed as organizing secretary, president, and now the re-elected president. And name recognition goes with voter familiarity. Apart from the fact that his name is superior as compared with Mausi, the voters, he also is very familiar with the voters, and he knows what goes into their mind, what they need to win the election. We can also look at his organizational acumen. Our peerless first president, Kwame Nkrumah, once said it's best repeating that organization decides everything. So his team really organized. Yesterday I saw a bus which brought voters from other media houses.
I see.
Yeah, it was part of the organization.
Okay.
And it didn't offend any electoral law. And so kudos to his organizational acumen. And of course, resources. In terms of resources, the other camp did not come near the Albert camp. The electoral machinery was well oiled, and no wonder it was able to clinch the overwhelming, the emphatic, the decisive victory they chalked up yesterday. Albert has gone on air to say that we should expect a different GJ. He's going to consolidate his gains, and he's going to take GJ to a different level. We wish him well, but at the same time, we need to remind him that Ghanaian journalists will match his promise against his delivery.
True.
Even though he's not seeking re-election, but history is a guy. Now, history doesn't forget. And we pray that he will etch his name in the history of GGA, in the history of this country.
Right.
The other side of the elections, which we can look at. But
well, I want to congratulate Kofi Edub-Domfe.
Kofi, yes, in Ashanti
He's
region.
Now the Ashanti regional
he defeated
president.
Georgina Amankuma by a single vote. By a single vote.
So Albert, sorry, our Upper East regional correspondent, he also won. And so we're excited. We're celebrating some people here from the multimedia
Certainly,
group,
yes.
So, yeah.
And we expect some like Sweetie Abuchi to offer herself for election.
Not part of my immediate goals right now, but yes, I mean, as some time goes on, we'll see whether or not I step into that arena of power.
I was looking at the other side of the election. And before the election, so many allegations were bandied about voter many voters, it was alleged that many voters were captured by cash and other form of inducement. And Dr. Kenna amplified these concerns and said they are not good for the, they do not paint a picture, right picture for journalists, because we are expected to be, above reproach by virtue of the fact that we occupy the fourth branch of the tripartite government. We exercise oversight responsibility with other branches, and as the goes, if gold rust, what will iron do? So the time has come to take a long and hard look at how best to sanitize the media election to ensure that money does not hold sway, but competence and character will be the most determining factors. Thank you so much, Mr. Moni. And it's a good time to welcome the legislator among us into the conversation. Nelson Kofi Jabab is Member of Parliament for Kratchi East constituency. Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you.
We're just discussing the just ended GJA elections.
Yeah.
And as former president of the GJA, it's only fitting that we hear his reflections. But it's your time now. What has caught your attention all weekend leading up to this moment that you want to reflect on before we get into the papers?
Thank you for the opportunity. And thanks to former president of GGA, Mr. Afamoni. And I think over the week, what dominated was the elections.
Okay.
Yeah, to say it's also congratulate them on that peaceful and democratic process they went through. I heard that DS was not like characterized by...
I want to, I'll come back to you. I think we have some technical issue with your microphone, so our audience can hear you and we want them to get the best of you. So let me just read out the headlines for my paper and give us time to fix yours. So I have the Hawk newspaper. I think I'll be fielding some stories for my joyonline.com. There are many stories on there this morning that I think we should get into. But the Hawk paper is carrying the story, excavator invasion, 3,000 seized, 2,000 still sailing in. And Araba lied on Edu Lodge, according to Oliver Bakavamo. He said on the 1982 murders. And Fadi flames NPP's School of Chopology. I think they just coined that word. Party's ideology is rewarding idiots over loyal foot soldiers. So these are stories you can find on the front page of the Hawk newspaper. University of Ghana COVID ban for students, red carpet for NPP. And the controversy begins. Oheneba dumps XYZ, joins NPP for cash. Mr. Moni, what stories do you have on your front page?
This is the overseer, Mahama to launch GoldBod task force on July 8 to combat smuggling. And the paper is quoting Sami Jemfi, the acting CEO. 3 stolen state vehicles retrieved from former GHOC MD Marcel Kofi Juma. This coming from the CID director. GoldBod new license takes effect, old ones revoked. Again, the paper is quoting Sami Jemfi. Africa must chart its own course. Sustainable growth. The finance minister, Ato Forsen, is again being quoted here. Enrique Poco secures FAO support to deepen Ghana's agricultural transformation agenda. And Zoomlion deploys 200 new trucks to tackle waste management nationwide. This is the overseer.
Okay, so before we get into the paper proper, let's hear out our legislator, Mr. Jabab.
On my front page?
Yeah. No, you were going to tell us something that you're reflecting on.
Good.
I think you started by saying it was a GJ election that dominated.
The GJ election that dominated.
Yeah.
And I congratulated them on the free and fair election they organized. And it was not characterized by any acrimony, monocracy, and we said
there were rumors. I mean, there were some stories.
There were rumors, but there were things that could be overlooked. There were not so much, this is so once again.
They can be consigned to the dustbin of history, but
yes, congratulations on the successful elections.
But it's guarding against any tendency to capture voters by money.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, at this level, at the level of GJ, I get the point you made earlier that because of the role we play as, the fourth estate, these things sort of mar our credibility.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a Jabab. So that's that.
I'm done. That's that.
Okay, thank you. So what do you have on your front page?
On my front page, I had NLA donates 100,000 Ghana cedis to tidal wave victims. Then Professor Ajimandua replies GTEC. Then police arrest Kofi Juma over stolen vehicles, and he is granted 500,000 Ghana cedis bail. Then 4 Chinese Galamsey arrested with pump action guns. Then we have Efwagate reconsider justice token suspension, GBA.
Yeah, that has been met with some divided arguments. Whether or not that call is something that lies in the hands of the GBA president to make, whether or not the president even has the power to do that. But let's discuss that. Let's start there. Let's get a bit of details out there on that story. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's inside the newspaper.
Yes, in the newspaper, page 3.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yes, please, yeah.
So, the national president of the Ghana Bar Association, Efwagate, has reiterated the call on President John Dramani Mahama to reconsider the suspension of Justice Gertrude Tokono as Chief Justice amidst the probing of 3 petitions calling for her removal. Then, speaking at a church service held in Accra in memory of the 3 High Court judges and a retired military officer who were abducted and murdered in 1982, she reiterated the call for the judiciary from political and all other forms of interference.
Right.
According to her, an independent judiciary in its true sin is a bulwark for all who seek justice.
Right.
And should be jealously protected.
Right. So, I mean, she's asking the president to, reconsider the suspension of the Chief Justice.
Yeah.
And what do you make of that call? That's the president of the GBA saying that. She's indicated that it's the duty of the GBA to protect judges. And she's describing this beacons of justice. I'm quoting her now from political interference. It sounds like they think what's happening now has some constitutional infractions, and the president can actually reconsider, in the spirit of reconciliation, she said, that they should reconsider the suspension and bring the suspended Chief Justice back. Mr. Moni, is this a call that we should heed? And should she be making a call like this in the first place?
I think one does not need any superfluity or prophecy to predict that this appeal will not fly. It can never move the needle as far as this case is concerned. Given the background of the stance taken by the Chief Justice recently when he went public with their concerns. Of course, she has the freedom to ventilate whatever bothers her, but the manner and the platform she chose, and the way the full complaints were couched struck some wrong course, which I believe has also deepened the stance of officialdom to allow the law to take its course. We are in a dispensation of rule of law and not the rule of men. And inside dispensation, the law should be allowed to follow due process. So due process is the name of the game as far as case is concerned. So we should allow the case to go to its logical conclusion, but at the same time appealing that justice should be seen to be done. Justice and nothing but justice. Because anything which will infract the law will haunt us as a nation. The whole world is watching. Ghana is watching. History is also watching. And our history is replete with so many cases of injustices, not to mention the murder, the most tragic circumstances of 3 High Court judges and a soldier. So in going through the merits of this case, please, we should ensure that nothing but justice is served. Anything to the contrary will haunt us and the best repeating us.
I think that's what she's saying, that it's not personality driven, that they have the mandate to protect our constitution, these judges and all. And so if we proceed the way we are going, according to her, we'll be setting a bad or poor precedent, which might come and bite us in the back sometime in the future. But let me hear Mr. Jabab on this as well.
Thank you. Right like Mr. Moni said, I feel in the rule of law, we are all equal before the law. Whether the judges, whether the citizens, whether the military, we are all equal before the law. And in that case, Justice Araba Tokono is a Ghanaian, for that matter. And though she's a judge, and of course, the CJ, she's not above the law. And from my point, you ask, let us see the process that is ongoing. Has the president in any way, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, breached the Constitution? If you look at the steps so far, the Constitution says that in Article 146, specifically Clause 6, outlines that if this happens, a committee shall be constituted. The committee was constituted. Now, the committee is to recommend to the president.
The lawyers are arguing that Article 146 in itself has some, like they'll call it lacuna, you know, there are some gaps in there that it's not only coming to light now, but because it's the first time that we are using this to remove a certain Chief Justice, that's where really the problem is. But you can continue your submission before I bring in our third guest.
Fine. So, if that is the case, mind you, the president does this upon the advice of the Council of State. The reason say the president just takes the decision and that's final. The president does this upon the advice of the Council of State. And Council of State is an institution where you cannot undermine the credibility of the personalities that are serving on the Council of State. Of course, you can even have a former Chief Justice represented on the Council of State. So how then?
Like we do right now.
Yeah, like we do right now. How can one then think that these able-minded bodies are not able to advise the president well? In any case, the process is ongoing. The committee has not ended its work. No report has been submitted. But I look at, there were some usage of some phrases like to score, it was being done to score some points and all that.
Because of the political coloration, we had members...
I disagree.
Who said that they would remove the Chief Justice, you know, so that sets the tone for the opposition to also argue the way they're doing.
I don't agree because these people do not have any issues to score. You look at the way the two office holders, the direction they are coming from. His Excellency John Mahama is clearly the head of what? The executive. Justice Araba Tokono is the head of who? The judiciary. The president unanimously or overwhelmingly, let me use the word, overwhelmingly elected by Ghanaians She is an appointee. She was appointed. She was referred to the parliament. The parliament vetted her. They referred her. The appointment was confirmed. She's our Chief Justice. We adore her. We respect her for that. Now, there hasn't been any rift. If you look at the proceedings of the national administration, there hasn't been any rift between these two big personalities of our land. So to say that one is doing this to score issues, to score points, I don't agree.
Okay.
And I find it difficult if I should agree. I feel that the president is rendering his constitutional mandate, and we should allow him to do that because...
Here's another angle of the conversation.
Yes.
The suspended Chief Justice said that, as we speak, she doesn't even know exactly what they are hearing here on. The petition, she doesn't have those. In that presser she granted last week. And that is the arguments they are making, that it's, breaks the laws of natural justice. Give the person a chance to also respond to some of these things. And it is based on her responses. You compare the responses to the allegations or accusations before you can determine a prima facie case. But let's pause here. Let me introduce Dr. Joshua Jebuntie Zato. Did I get your name right?
No.
No? Please tell me. How do you pronounce
It's
it?
J. You say Z. It's Joshua Jebuntie.
Jebuntie Zato.
No. Jebuntie.
Jebuntie
Zato.
Zato.
This is Joshua Jebuntie Zato.
I'm going to stick with Dr. Zato.
That's good too.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's good to have you. I think this is our first time. This is my first encounter with you.
Yeah. This is actually my first time in the whole of multimedia place. So I got lost. I got into traffic on my way here. So apologies for coming late and apologies for coming late. So
okay.
But finally I made it.
Yes, you made it. And just for our audience, you're a senior lecturer, policy and political analyst at the Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, Legon.
Yes, please. The premier political science department in the country. One of the leading in the country. We must say that.
Well, we want to get into your mind and understand some of the things that have sparked national debate. So it's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Well, we're just discussing, the ongoing hearing or the ongoing processes to either remove the Chief Justice or bring her back. Currently, she's on suspension. Yeah. Opposition has their own arguments. The incumbent government or members of the administration also have their own arguments. What do you make of all the arguments pouring in so far? It's the first time we're hearing you on this.
Okay. Once again, thank you very much, and good morning to my co-panelists, and good morning to those listening. I just came in briefly, but I heard the Honorable MP, right, making some arguments. If you sit back and you look at this whole CJ brouhaha, there's a very simple argument that some people are making, that the previous government under Akufo-Addo removed Charlotte Osei. And so this NDC2 is removing this woman. So case closed. You can make that very simplistic argument. I call it a quantitative argument. 1-1. You remove this, I remove this, that's all. You can make that quantitative argument. So if that is the argument we are making, then we know that there's nothing else to add. There's nothing else to add to the argument. You remove one woman, I remove one woman, you go. But I see that argument as lazy. And then the people say, okay, when this woman was removed, you said nothing. Or when this woman was removed, nobody said anything. So why are you saying anything now? That's a very lazy qualitative argument. Because there's a better qualitative argument to be made. That Charlotte Osei and Justice Tokonu are not the same. Charlotte Osei was a member of the executive. He served under the office of the president or under the executive, the EC and everything. Justice Tokonu is a co-equal member of government. She is the head of the judiciary. When we talk about the arms of government in Ghana, we say they are equal. There are three arms of government: the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. The executive, of course, led by the president and the vice president. They head it. The parliament, legislature led by what? The speaker of parliament. And then the judiciary led by what? The chief justice. We say they are equal arms of government and equal. There was once a debate in parliament. I've said this, that the speaker of Bagbin had to remind the majority leader, I am number 3, what's your number?
Yeah.
He was making a very important point. He was saying that is my position in the constitution. That is my hierarchy. Where's your hierarchy? So Justice Tokonu is number 4 in Ghana. Yeah. What is the position of Charlotte Osei? So you cannot compare those two. You cannot. That's the first thing I want to say. So that no. So when we are talking about we are talking about removing a co-equal arm of the government that should carry more weight and more significance than removing another arm of the government. They are two different. In fact, it's even different from removing Domilevo. It's different from what because again and again, none of them are a co-equal arm of government. That's the first thing. Second,
that's a good foundation. But tie it into what the president of the GBA is saying, Ifwagate.
I'm coming, exactly. You see, sometimes we're also being told that this process is so that the president is just a conveyor belt. He just does this and he goes. The question, even in a conveyor belt, there is a force that moves the belt from one place to another. There's a force. If you look at this process, that force is a political force. It's not a legal force. There are issues that are legal. You can say that, yeah, these are legal. But the forces that moves them, what moves it from one state to another, they are political, not legal. One, you receive a petition. And the Constitution says, send the petition to Council of State. That is a legal provision. You must submit it to the Council of State, right? But the Constitution doesn't tell how fast or how quick you send it to the Council of State. It's a political decision. It's discretion of the president. So the president can receive a petition this morning, send it to Council of State this morning. He can receive a petition today, send it to Council of State next week. He can receive a permission today and send it in 2 years. I mean, I hope there's a lawyer, he can tell me if I'm wrong. Yeah. So the decision as to how fast to submit that petition is a political decision. Number two, the question then is, the decision as to make, how to make this public is, so he said the Council of State determines.
Right, go ahead.
So the Council of State says that we have either made a prima facie or we've not made a prima facie. Sends the report to the president. That's what the Constitution says. What the president does with it is also political. The president can decide to make it public. Akufo-Addo did it. In the case of the same Tokunu, when the Council of State came back with their decision, he published it. You can disagree with Akufo-Addo's legal reasoning. You can disagree with how he got there. But you know how he got there.
Was it with Charles?
No, it was
there
with
were some
Tokunu.
petitions.
There was a petition. He made it public. And that is one of the reasons why the Chief Justice is talking about. You are saying I should come and face a defense. But I don't know how Council of State got to guilty. I don't know how they got to that decision.
Well, not guilty. Just
I mean, saying that we found a further.
Yeah, yes. It's just reason to probe further.
Exactly, but they said they don't. She doesn't know how they got there. There were a number of petitions. Did they get to a prima facie on all of them? What were their legal reasoning? So if I'm preparing my defense, isn't it important for me to know, for instance, there was something about impress. She said, look, you gave me 12,000 impress. I spent about 5,000. I returned the rest of the money. What did the Council of State say about that? For instance, just take that. What did they say about that? So if I'm coming to defend myself, how should I prepare for that particular? She doesn't know. So she's walking in blindly. That is what she's saying. She's walking in blindly to face a committee that already has. So the committee knows how the Council of State got to that. The committee knows the Council of State legal reasoning for that. But she doesn't know. But she's the one facing the committee. Akufo-Addo made that decision public.
At some point in the processes, she's going to know.
But yes? At some point, why doesn't she know that she can prepare her defense? It's her defense. Listen, it's her defense. It's nobody else's defense. It's not the committee's defense. It's not Council of State defense. It's not the president. It's her defense. She's fighting for her job. Shouldn't she know what she's fighting for? Number three, the GBA says this process is unfair to her. They keep saying it. Yesterday, you heard them say it. It's not only the GBA. Other international bodies have said so. In fact, Parliament, he's a member of Parliament. The majority leader has come and said there are certain provisions in the current law that needs to be reviewed. That were not fair. But don't worry, we are going to use those unfair provisions, those unfair whatever it is, to finish this case. Then when we finish, we'll go back to Parliament and make it better. Why? So we are going to use the bad medicine for this woman. When she's gone, we will now go back and bring a better medicine for the next Chief Justice. And I'm saying that these are all political. So, yes, the law is there. There are the things that are illegal. But if you keep looking, and we can go on and on, you begin to then realize that the politics is woven and laced into it. And that the fate of this woman is sealed and doomed.
Here's the question, while we sum up this, because we have a number of things to discuss. The question is simply, are there constitutional infractions Are they breaching the law? Are the people who constitute this Paman committee probing the whether the prima facie case, probing the petitions brought against them, are they all doing this on political lines rather than legal lines, like you established a clear difference between them?
No, the point I'm trying to make is that they are interwoven.
So from the Council of State to the committee probing this matter, to even the current acting Chief Justice.
Exactly.
Are you saying that they are all on while we are using this flawed Article 146 to remove?
That's not what I'm saying. That's what the Ghana Bar Association is saying.
Okay, and what are you saying?
The Ghana Bar Association is saying they are all looking on what is happening. What's the name? Other associations have said that. She herself has said that they are all looking on what is going on.
Okay, hold on.
So yes,
we understand what the GBA is saying. I'm asking you as a political analyst, what are you saying?
So if you look at the preponderance of all this evidence, if you look at this, then you realize that it is a predetermined case. That the woman will be removed, she would go and will have a new chance.
So that's what you make of it.
Yes.
You wanted to say something, Mr. Jabab.
What I was saying is that where I disagree with Ghana Bar Association is that they are seeing it as issues to settle some scores. And which scores are they settled? That was why I came from the angle that you look at the two personalities involved or the institutions involved. This is an executive, this is a judiciary. So what then is common between them? What scores are they settling? And I try to dig back from the two personalities. Where there have ever been any meeting point of these two individuals? No, practically no. So it's unfortunate, Doctor says some people are linking it to the removal of Charlotte Osei. Well, I don't know.
Oh, but that's an argument.
I don't know. It's an argument there. It's an argument, but I don't know. I don't have the details of it. And I don't think this petition has nothing to link to the removal of Charlotte Osei.
Okay.
No.
So, I mean, Dr. Zato, you say that it's a predetermined case.
Yeah.
And they are bent on using this flawed Article 146 to remove the Chief Justice, the current suspended Chief Justice, before they can talk about fixing it.
Yes.
On the background of, we know there's a constitutional review process going on. And Mr. Jabab, you're saying that you don't see where that argument stands. Or
yes.
Because there is you don't have any history between the current head of the executive and the current suspended Chief Justice, for which reason we should say this is a vendetta that they're just trying to...
Exactly. And I've not seen any breach. I've not seen anywhere.
Wait, hold
so
on,
far in the process,
gentlemen.
I've not seen any breach of the Constitution anywhere.
Thank you. I want Mr. Money to break the tie for us. You have the final word on this matter.
It is not within the bounds of possibility to cite politics as the underlying factor in the Charlotte Osei and Chief Justice Arabato Konu's case. Politics decides everything. But in playing politics with issues of supreme national importance, we should ensure that we stick to the law, that whatever we do does not infringe the dictates of the law. At the end of the day, justice must be served and served to the admiration and acceptance of the generality of Ghanaians. Most often we take the other Ghanaian for granted, but they can read between the lines. Sometimes when you read some of the some rulings by certain judges, and then you wonder whether what went into such rulings. And the same with football. If you are addicted football, sometimes a referee might have gone to a trainee FIFA licensed referee, but a referee can take a bad decision, which will be seen by all as something which does not cannot be justified in any circumstances. So again, the plea goes to whoever the committee which is handling the case. Ensure that there's no miscarriage of justice as far as her probe is concerned. Okay.
Thank you so much. Now, yesterday, news came in that GoldBod has revoked all gold trading licenses issued under the former PMMC regime. And that has also been met with so many arguments back and forth. They are saying that you can still apply, but if you are not licensed by the Ghana Gold Board, you are committing a crime if you buy gold or engage in any form of gold trading. And I'm actually reading the story from myjoyonline.com, so you can also go there and read it for yourself. Now, he emphasized that we would no longer continue to respect the licenses issued under the old regime. And what is important for us to note is that we are not saying you cannot apply because the deadline has elapsed. Anyone who wants to trade in gold can apply for a GoldBod license at any time. So whereas they've revoked the licenses issued under the PMMC regime, they're not saying that the window is closed. If you still want to trade, engage, buy gold in Ghana, you just come to the GoldBod for the licenses. Let me start with you, Dr. Zato. How did this news come to you?
You know, sometimes we make policies in this country, and then some of them are solutions looking for problems, others are problems looking for solutions. And then you find this policy obfuscation and policy confusion that sometimes you begin to have. There was a regime under the PMMC. People had licenses. So when you come in as a new agency, the first thing you do is not to cancel all those licenses. Now, the moment you do that, you are putting another burden on those already licenses. It's probably true that there were some people who were abusing or misusing their licenses. It's also true there were some people who probably got their license through what? Illegal means. Or when using the. So what you do is that you try to get to the middle. You review those licenses. You call and you review them. And then you say, look, license A, B, C, D, you are being a good corporate participant. You are being a good corporate citizen. Your license is maintained. B, A, B, C, D, you need to update it or you need to do this to bring it apart. What I mean is that you review the policy comprehensively with the objective of making it clear. If you don't do that, and the first instance you do is to clear all licenses, and now you are putting a further burden on these businesses to now reapply under a new regime and the new laws that they themselves now have to learn, you are increasing the cost of doing business. The transaction cost is increasing. And it's probably because of that that some of them now are unable to meet the new requirements. Now, if you make the burden of compliance difficult, you lessen the burden of what? Non-compliance. You make it easier for people to comply. So if these people are already in the business of gold, if they know how to export gold, how to do this, and you are revoking their licenses, what do you think they're going to do? Stop exporting gold?
So first, you say you're making the cost of doing business expensive.
Yes, difficult.
But we all understand why the GoldBod had to be, birthed.
Yes, we don't understand why. It was a political decision to make a policy. I understand that. It's public policy. No. Understand. There was PMMC. We were not told what is wrong with PMMC. I don't know. Have they told you? Nobody has told us what is wrong with PMMC. But I understand that too. You are making a new policy. You want it to be a new vehicle to achieve specific national objectives. I understand that.
Okay.
But so far, nobody has told us that this was what was wrong with PMMC, so we need to bring GoldBod to fix it. That argument, nobody has made it yet.
Okay.
I don't know, unless somebody here can tell me why. That there was what was wrong with PMMC, and why do we need a complete new vehicle to do this? Nobody has yet made that cogent argument. I've not seen it. But nevertheless, it's a government policy. I respect policy. I know government makes policy. So, if you now do that policy, and they're already, and this is always the problem. There's a reason why, listen, when you are recruited into the police service or any of the security agencies, they don't easily fire you, especially after you've gone through the training. Because if you are a soldier, you've gone through the training, you're already, for want of a better way, a killing machine. You know how to shoot. If you are thrown out there, what are you going to do? So these people already know how to export gold. So they already know. So whether if you revoke their license, they will go underground. So find a way. So my argument is that we should still open wide a net. We need an umbrella, a big umbrella solution to still keep bringing them together, to still keep offering them a number of carrots. I don't think the time is too short. We can afford a year of more carrots to them to cobble them in, to lure them in, to bring them into compliance. Because sometimes if you go the nuclear option, they will go underground. And when they go underground, you miss your policy objectives.
Thank you for that. I'm trying to get the details because I remember reading something about the reason why we need GoldBod. I want to get the details before I respond to you. But let me hear Mr. Jabab's thoughts on this. In terms of whether or not this is indeed going to make the cost of doing business expensive for those who had their licenses under the PMMC regime.
The GoldBod came in to regularize the gold trade, as we saw from the beginning. And with that, when the GoldBod kick-started, you realize that the revenue that the GoldBod started to rake in is something that's encouraging. We were told that either to the coming in of GoldBod, Ghana lost revenue in terms of gold trade to the tune of $2 billion in a year. So these are the issues that GoldBod came in to address. The issue of smuggling of gold, illegal way of trade. Now GoldBod came to formalize this trade. You want to trade with Ghana in the area of gold? Come through GoldBod. Come through the formal process. Let's do business. Now, what has the CEO said? He's saying that even that you have not made a deadline, the room is still open for you. You are still welcome. If you want to trade in gold, you want to, acquire license and become an off-taker, you want to acquire license and do what kind of business, as far as gold trading is concerned, let's trade in a legal, in a formal way. That is going to help build the country we want. That is going to reset the agenda of the government for Ghana. Therefore, coming, nobody is banned out of, let's say, in the gold business. No, the opportunity is still there. You want the license, come. You can still have the license. So to me, this is a call in the right direction.
Okay, so, PMMC was a limited liability company. And GoldBod, in contrast, is a statutory corporation created under the Ghana GoldBod Act, which meant that PMMC had limited powers to oversee everything in the gold or mining. Let's limit it to gold, first of all, sector. It meant that now GoldBod has exclusive authority to grade, assay, weigh, value every gold that we generate or mine from this country. PMMC didn't have that. In terms of combating smuggling and enhancing oversight, PMMC could not do that diligently or comprehensively. They had limited powers. In terms of formalization of small-scale mining, GoldBod is now tasked to support legal ASM activities. In terms of promote, this PMMC did have. So I'm saying there are some issues or there are some limitations that PMMC had, for which reason they couldn't oversee comprehensively and what the mining sector or the gold that was coming in from this country. And in terms of helping to actually show up our gold reserves, which was pivotal to, or should I say, the backbone of our economy. PMMC.
I'm not disagreeing.
No,
with
you're saying why did they
yes,
move
I'm saying that
that's why I said I want to get the details before
there was a law that established PMMC. So you could easily amend the law to give it the powers. As simple as that, you could do that.
Right. No, that's an argument you can make.
So that's, we are making the same. Plus, we are talking about shoring the gold. Those was that the gold for oil, but did all the shoring. Currently, almost all, about 30 tons or whatever, was all done under the gold for oil money managed under the PMC. I'm saying, look, if you want to do you want to come up with a new policy, that's okay, that's fair. Governments do it all the time.
Is it right or wrong that we have now a single legally empowered entity that centrally controls the gold reserves or the gold that we mine?
It's not about right or wrong. You could have done that. You could have empowered PMMC.
It's a three-step question. So let's do this. It's a three-step question.
Okay.
Is it good for us that we have a single legally empowered entity now that takes full control of our gold gold in this country? Does it all go well for us? You can even, compare to just the 6 months in this administration, what they have done compared to the
what I've done.
years.
I don't know what I've done. What have they done so far? In terms of accumulation of gold, the PMMC accumulated more gold than what we've done. If you take
well, you're comparing years.
No. If you go on that tangent, you are not trying to say to them. I'm making the point. You are not. I don't know. You are probably that. Look, a new government says we are going to make a new policy to do this. I respect that.
Okay.
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. You've done it, but I'm saying they say all the flaws you've said existed, right? You could have amended the law establishing PMMC to do the same thing. You could have done that. If you realize that PMMC did not have teeth to do this, you could give them teeth. If you realize that PMMC did not have this, you give them. I'm saying that is another option. So the government had two options.
So is it your problem changing?
I don't have a problem actually. No, I don't have a problem. No.
Actually, Mr. Jabab, you are in government.
Yeah.
So I want you
and I'm telling you, this is it. I don't have a problem with either of them.
All right.
I'm just saying it may be redundant, but it has happened. Okay. Now that's the only vehicle we have. We go by it. The point I'm making is that because it's new, maybe compliance will be difficult. Businesses may begin to learn or are trying to learn how to comply. with these new requirements. That means that they will need to incur new legal costs, new technical costs, new financial costs, new technological costs. All these costs match up. So I'm saying that.
But for the greater good.
Yes. So
for Ghana.
No. I have no doubt about that. But so give them enough carrots to be able to what? Comply.
Okay.
That is not the time to begin to use the stick. Give them enough carrots so that they will comply, because what do you think they are going to do?
That's what he said. He said the window is not closed. At any time,
what do you think?
What do you think
will happen if you close? If they are bad from, they will go underground. If they go underground, it will not be free for the greater.
All right, Mr. Jabab, let's hear you out. You are in government.
He has already. Yeah. The GoldBod has already thought of this. That's why the window is not closed; it's still open to people still willing to venture into gold business. And you see, one thing Doctor could not run away from is the fact that the GoldBod, even upon 6 months, less than 6 months of being in session, what GoldBod has achieved is something that no Ghanaian can run away from. And you see, if we allow GoldBod, as we are seeing now, to operate for some time, we are going to see the results are going to be so enormous. And this is what we want.
He's not disputing the benefits.
He's not disputing. He's not disputing.
What GoldBod seeks to do for us. He's saying that it affects people in the wrong way. It affects.
I know. That was when I asked him. He said he was not against it. He said he's not against it. He said that.
So the question is, does it come at extra cost to these businesses, these miners, those who export gold, to now get a new license under the GoldBod regime? Now that
I don't get that clear.
Okay, so GoldBod has revoked the licenses of all those who had their licenses under PMMC.
Yes.
He's saying that the cost of doing business now will be more expensive because they have to now go and apply for new licenses. They don't know whether it will come at extra technical cost, extra legal fees, extra. He said a number of things. The question is that in fact the truth that it's going to cost businesses more to get the new license under the GoldBod regime?
Your SIM card, common SIM. How many times have you registered SIM card in Ghana here? How many times? You see, sometimes there were some processes wrong.
Yeah.
This is what I want you to get me clear. People acquired gold license under mysterious conditions. People, just by virtue of the fact that there were party foot soldiers, were given license to mine gold. This is what destroyed our concessions. We saw it. This is what destroyed our water bodies. We saw it. People were just discriminately, mining anywhere without any recourse to the laid down mineral rules and regulations. That's what GoldBod has come in to address. So you look at this, if the processes by which people acquired the licenses were not right, and said, no, we are reissuing licenses. I mean, to reissue licenses, to reissue whatever permit, it's not a new thing for an institution to do. So I feel that if the GoldBod failed, is it a new thing? No, it's not a new thing for an institution to do. The GoldBod has realized probably the processes that led to the attainment of those licenses were flawed. There were not processes that are good for one to say that we can use this to arise at our objectives of, having to rake in the resources, the revenue we are looking for.
He also made a point.
Therefore, we want to formalize the system. If you want the license, go through process A, B, C to attainment of the license.
He's saying that instead of doing this one-size-fits-all approach and revoking all the licenses issued under the PMMC regime, you could actually go do a targeted approach, review each license, find out who has been complying, who has been mining ethically, who deserves to keep his or her license. Rather than say, because GoldBod is now in action, we are revoking all the licenses and causing these businessmen to now have to go through a new process of acquiring new licenses. Could that have been an option to explore? That
could have been an option. But before the GoldBod takes this decision, mind you, they might have also done their due diligence. That's what I stated earlier. To the processes, the steps by which some of these licenses were acquired. That is what would inform whether they should go this step or the other way around.
Mr. Money?
I think we should be very hesitant in condemning the introduction of the GoldBod Act. I think what we need to do is to square the justification of the enactment of Act 1140 to the revenue we are raking in, the gold we are maximizing and selling at the same time. And we all can see if the CD is now having a strong foothold strong foundation because we have enough gold to support our currency. So what needs to be done, and with urgent promptitude, is education on the new GoldBod Act, Act 1140. It said any law which has education is a hallucination. So thus we all know that this law was rushed, and then leaving people, especially the stakeholders, to really get the essence of introducing this GoldBod Act. So it's not too late to go back and then educate maximally all the stakeholders about the benefit of this new GoldBod Act. And we all know that policy enactment, policy introduction, is the result of situation variables or contextual factors. And before the enactment of this GoldBod Act, we all know that what we're receiving as a form of revenue was something, it was a pale in comparison with what was being smuggled outside. So this GoldBod Act has come at the right time. In fact, it's the right legislation at the right time to fix a gaping hole in the gold trade and in the gold industry. So all that we need to do now is to demand education, so that every dealer in gold will know his or her right, how to offend, how not to offend the law, and the consequences also for offending the law. We've been told that those who offend the law will be subject to severe punishment. But education should come before the application of the law. This is my take.
Thank you so much. And we have to move on now, because tomorrow we are launching the 24-hour economy policy. Minority is still asking, they're asking some valid questions. Where is the money coming from? We know that we are looking at some $4 billion to actually implement this fully. They're asking where is the money coming from, and they haven't yet got a bill, in Parliament. Parliamentarians have, and Mr. Jabab, you can confirm for me, have they presented a bill, a 24-hour economy bill to Parliament yet? But this is what we have. Tomorrow we will see. I think on our big stories today, we'll actually be engaging some members of the committee to get their perspective on this matter. But Dr. Zato, I like starting with you.
You should start with him.
You bring the heat.
He's in Parliament. He's in Parliament. He's in Parliament. He can tell us.
No, I mean, the questions minority is asking, it makes sense to me, an ordinary person. I mean, I'm not sitting here in any political colors. Yes. That where are we going to get the money? I think government is absorbing just like 10% of the total cost we need to actually implement this holistically. And they're also asking for clarity on, the policy, the programs. All these questions need to be answered. But in 24 hours or less than 24 hours or a little above 24 hours, we are launching this. But we do know that some sectors have already started, like some petrol stations in Adenta and the rest. Even the Speaker of Parliament was saying that Parliament will be starting. DVLA has started. Yeah. So it looks like, we have done some trials in some places. We don't have a comprehensive report on how that fared, but we are going at its full haul tomorrow. Mr. Jabab, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
I thought you were going to start with
No. I mean, he's in government, so let's ask the questions, and he gives us the response.
Good. Okay. The honorable MP. Okay.
Thank you so much.
No, I mean you first.
You are messing up.
I mean, of course, you might have concerns. We don't know.
I do. I said, look, I teach public policy. And there's something we often call the theoretical or ideal policy cycle. We should try to explain public policy. I'm still looking at this 24-hour economy. And it's a complete detail of policy confusion and obfuscation. You don't even know where to start and where to end. We've been talking about 24 hours, this 24-hour economy, for almost a year now. It was one of the most talked about things on the campaign trail. But still, I'm asking my questions. What is the problem 24-hour economy seeks to address? And what is hypothesized, or what is supposed to be its outcomes? What is it supposed to achieve? Take a policy like free HSS, education, and we're hoping that this number of students are going to go. Clear, very simple to articulate. There's a problem with students who are not going to school because they cannot pay. We'll pay, they will go. Simple as that. Take a policy like planting for food and jobs. People want to go farm, they don't have the money or they don't have the equipment to go, we'll provide and they'll go. Simple. You can even make a very simplistic input-output argument for that. 24-hour economy. What is the input? What is the output? The reason why a bank is not running 24 hours is not because it doesn't want to do 24-hour economy. It's because I'm not going to sleep, wake up in the middle of the night and say, you know what, let me go and cash a check. No, I'm not going to do that. You're not going to do that. None of us are going to do that. I'm not going to sleep in the middle of the night and then say, you know what, let me get up and go to GVLA and renew my license. I'm not going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. I mean, I'm not going to sleep and wake up. You know what? It's 1 a.m. Let me go to a restaurant and eat and come back and sleep. Nobody's going to do that. So what is the problem 24-hour economy seeks to achieve? I am a lecturer at the University of Ghana. We start teaching sometimes at 7 and we end almost at 9 or 8. Are you going to get 2 lecturers to teach the course I'm teaching? You said 3 people for 1 job, right? I'm a police officer. You can increase the number of police officers. If you are a teacher in Igala Primary School in Tumu, or if you are a teacher at Kanto Secondary School in Tumu, and you are teaching mathematics, are we going to get 3 mathematics teachers? And then we are saying that the first class of students, they will close at 3 o'clock, go, and then the second class of students come at 3 o'clock, they will start from 3 o'clock, close at 8, then the third mathematics teacher will start at 8 and end at 12. Is that what it means? If I am a nurse.
All right, so I'm reading from
so
the 24-hour economy agenda.
Yes.
This is the document I have. It's a 283-page document, and I'm currently on page 15 now, and I want to respond to some of the questions you're asking. So Ghana's fundamental economic structure, they say, is deformed. It is still structured like a colonial economy, meaning it is just a cog in a larger global economy where it is organized around the interest of others, not the citizens. We have import dependency that we're trying to solve, structural misalignment within the domestic economy. But what's really important to note, and this is coming from the preface actually, and that's from President Mahama. He says that we promised an economic reset, not because it was a powerful campaign slogan, but because our current economic structure simply does not work for us. For which reason they have targeted industries, sectors. It is not a blanket size or one-size-fits-all approach. There are various sectors that need to be operating 24 hours to maximize our export, maximize our output, maximize our productivity. You agree with me that we keep saying that we have too many natural and human resources in this country to be operating at the level that we are. It's always about how we can make the most out of it. They're saying that this 24-hour economy policy, plan, program is the solution for that. They're saying that this is how they transform the national economic agenda. This is how we get more people into jobs. This is how we get more sectors to thrive without the closing at 5 p.m. Perhaps when you have more energy, you can go, you know. This is how you introduce the shift system where one job, especially for factory workers, you can have 3 people do the same job and you're employing 3 people, you're increasing your productivity. I'm just trying to tell you what they're saying.
You are, but I have to respond. If you want me to respond, okay. Why is the factory, I know factories that are operating 24 hours now. I know factories that are running shift. It's happening now.
But it's not on a national level.
No, you see, is it are you talking about a private factory or a government factory? A public factory?
Both. They're not on a national level.
Plus,
this time around, I understand they have incentives for those who choose to go.
If you are a private,
the point
I'm making is, if you're a private business and you have your factory, the reason why you are not running 24-hour economy is not because there's no 24-hour economy policy. That's not the reason why. The reason comes from because there are businesses now that are running 24-hour economies. There are people that are running shifts. Hospitals are running 24-hour economies. Hospitals are running 24 hours because people fall sick at any time and you go. So sickness doesn't take a break. Hospitals are running 24-hour economy.
Okay.
You can say the port is running 24-hour economy. What I'm saying is that if you have a business, Joy FM is running 24 hours. There was a time when GTV used to close at 12 midnight, right? They'll play the Yana Assassin and we go. Today there's demand. Today there is demand, and because of the demand, radio stations and media houses do not close.
Right.
I'm saying that you don't need a 24-hour economy to be good. If it's a private business, the only reason why they will not run 24-hour economy is because it doesn't make good business.
Be that as it may, Dr. Zato, it has come.
Yes, agree.
And it is no longer a party slogan. It's this administration. We are in government now. This is no longer politics and campaigning. And it has come. And so tomorrow we will see how it begins.
Exactly.
Your question is still that you don't see what need it comes.
First of all, where are we going to get the money from? Secondly, where are we going to get the energy from? We have serious energy problems, even to power the regular period that we have. We have regular energy. So where from the money, where from the energy, and also we can just say, where are the tangibles we are supposed to get?
All right. So that's 3 questions. Thank you. Mr. Mone, I want you to speak before I come to Mr. Jabab.
I think we need to wait for the details tomorrow when they are unfolded, and so that we can make an informed judgment as to the viability of the 24-hour economy. But I think enough rhetoric has been bandied about, so the time for action is now. The slogan in our church, Assemblies of God, is action now. So we expect action to start from tomorrow after all the talk about the benefits of 24-hour economy. But I think we should also, again, be hesitant in condemning this initiative. Certain sectors of economy operated on 24-hour basis before the introduction of the 24-hour economy. But from my understanding, now there's a deliberate policy, national policy, to scale up the operations of these sectors of the economy so that it will help cure joblessness, which is a #1 factor of the storminess of hopelessness among the youth. So this is,
This is what you say. Mr. Jabab, you speak for the government. You're a member of parliament.
Thank you so much. I've listened to both panelists, and I think the controversy all around 24-hour economy out there too has been loud. And thank God tomorrow, when I see 24-hour economy, one thing I have always thought of is when something is there, but in an informal way, and you want to have it, change is always very resistant, as you know. But that is not to say 24-hour economy is a change, but economy.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer. What is it?
It's a game changer.
I'm coming. It's a game changer, but there's a direction I want to come from.
Let's hear you.
What I want to say, is not a change. It's directly from what you were saying that the pharmacists were doing 24-hour economy. Are you understanding? It is not that we are now going to get the framework governing 24-hour economy. Now, if you have been before this, if you have been to port to clear goods and you were caught up by time, where the custom official will tell you that we have closed, time is over, we cannot approve your declaration for you. You would have known the essence of 24-hour economy. If you have been to DVLA, probably to change or register your vehicle, and when it is time that you should have these institutions work, and they tell you that we have closed, you can no more do this, then you have seen the essence of 24-hour economy. The passport office, where you are in queue, sometimes the whole day, that is where you will see the essence of 24-hour economy. The policy from day one, his announcement up to the point, didn't say that it's coming to probably begin from on the fertile ground and unknown ground. No, it's beginning from some selected institutions, institutions that will thrive well, that we see that it needs shift in work. It has the potential to shift. This is what we are talking about.
But, I mean...
And this is going invariably, will lead to increased productivity. Number 2, this will reduce unemployment. So if one says that he doesn't see what 24-hour economy seeks to achieve, then I have a problem. I have a problem because these are all problems that the state is looking for to achieve as a solution.
Page 18 of the 24-hour economy agenda, you've actually listed, I think, 7 things, and you're calling their orientation or the integrated solution. So reduce dependence on imported food and production inputs, lower post-harvest losses, expand domestic manufacturing, affordable patient capital that unlocks MSME growth, a highly skilled Pan-Africanist. It goes on and on. Citizen engagement, accountability, a vibrant cultural, artistic. The question we're asking, Mr. Jabab, where is the money coming from? You're talking about 4 billion. Where is the money coming from?
Where the money is coming from? You know, before 24-hour economy, the government has put in interventions. The that it has, avenues that they will generate income to fund 24-hour economy. When this policy kickstarts. So the government has made adequate preparation for the launch of the program tomorrow. So for you to get a better understanding for where the money will come from, please wait for tomorrow.
Okay.
And you will not be surprised.
All right.
I just wanted to say something quickly.
Yes, I'll allow it.
There are 3 points that are mentioned prominently. DVLA, passport, and port. I understand those parts. So there are service delivery sections. The problem I also have is that if you overpromise and then they deliver, it becomes a problem. So will the staff of DVLA be tripled? Because people are looking for jobs, and that's what they're looking at. Will the staff at the passport office be tripled?
I think the workload
will the staff at the port be tripled?
Exactly.
Because you see, honorable, when you over
the volume of work that will come there will determine.
So if the volume of work lessen, then it may not triple, it may double. Now, if the volume of work still not to do, it may not. You see, you understand? You understand, right? So if people are excited that 24 cannot bring jobs, so they are excited that okay, DVLA office in WA. Right now, they have a staff that works the regular 8 hours. And the 24-hour economy, you are talking about 3 people for this. So are they going to have 3 shifts? That means that if the current staff there is 10, 20 people are hoping to get jobs for the 3. Is that what you are promising? At the passport office in WA, if you are 10 officers, it means that you are going to add another 20. And so on. You are getting people overly excited. I don't know what you understand. Because it's 3 people for 1 job. But you also just made a point, is the demand. So if there's no demand for passport service picking up after 10 p.m. in WA, will you still have all this working 24 hours?
I mean, not to believe your point, but at this point, we know they've incorporated digitalization. But no, it's on your point, which means that it is not a one-size-fits-all, thing.
Exactly. No, but that's why I picked the sectors that are often mentioned.
Yeah.
My point is that governments are used to over-promising.
And
they're delivering. And when you do that, there becomes that policy disconnect. Okay. We are over-promising. It's like we are saying that 24-hour care is like Aquabam. You remember Aquabam those days? It will solve every sickness you have. We are promising like Aquabam, like as you said, one size fits all. It may not be Aquabam, it may be paracetamol.
And they're saying that for the clarity we are seeking, we should listen to them tomorrow.
We will. We'll be here. Right?
Yes,
we'll be listening, right?
Yes.
And we'll
come back tomorrow.
And we hope it cures all the problems.
What I was telling Doc is that 24-hour economy, he made specific reference to WA. DVLA and WA.
Yes.
DVLA will employ. If DVLA employs, and probably WA office doesn't deserve 3 shifts. There could be an office somewhere that needs 3 shifts.
So it will be based on demand?
It will be based on demand.
Okay.
So let's wait till tomorrow.
Something can create a demand.
So you can create. But you see where we are going with this. So it means that it may not be the 3 people to 1 job that we promised. Some places may be 1 person, others maybe 2 or 3. All right,
gentlemen, we have to go. But I mean, today we start to see the appreciation of our data for money, money for data. That's the Communications Minister, Sam George, mentioned that today, 1st of July, we start to see an improvement in how much we get for when we buy data. So, for example, I think I do that 92 gig. I should have waited to try it today, but I bought data 2 days ago. So those out there, those following us, let us know how it's going. We just want to get an understanding of how your experiences have been. Quickly, let's see if we can get some stories from the papers, and then we have to go in about 3 minutes. So, Mr. Mon, any of the 3 minutes, Mr. Mon, any story on your paper that you want us to get into that we haven't discussed yet?
The attempt to increase food production, and the Sata Minister, Eric Opoku, is flying high as far as his job is concerned. But again, we need to see action. The viability of whatever policies they have will be seen in the availability of foodstuffs market and their prices. So in the past, we promised that we're going to plant more food and create more jobs. I'm yet to see any assessment of what went on. Again, we need to learn from the setbacks of that policy, and then to ensure that the policy does not go the same lane.
Okay. Mr. Jabab, do you have any response to that, or should we get to other stories? I want us to touch, I want to end up with this proposal coming from the Office of the Special Prosecutor for the establishment of independent committee to oversee political party financing. That will be the last story. So if you have a story here.
I have a story I wanted to
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Delegate, 4 Chinese Galamseys arrested with pump action guns.
Okay.
Look, we're talking about rhetoric and action. We heard the rhetoric about Galamsey.
Yeah.
Today, nobody in this country is saying that we are winning the Galamsey war. We are losing it. We say Galamsey is an existential threat.
And I think I buy into the narrative that we should stop calling it Galamsey. Galamsey, to the best of my understanding, gather and sell. But this is illegal, man.
Let's even go with that. We're talking about rhetoric and reality. Everybody says that it's an existential threat. And everybody says that we are losing the war. And everybody has asked for 2 simple things to help. 1, repeal the LI. 2, declare a state of emergency around water bodies. This is what everybody has been asking for. This is what has been promised in opposition, and this is what is not happening. We are losing the war. You know why we are losing the war? Because we are not treating Galamsey as an existential threat. We are not treating it as an emergency. E-levy was an emergency, it went like that. Betting tax was an emergency, it went like that. D-levy was an emergency, it actually came to the House, and the certificate of emergency, like that, is gone. Even holidays, to name holidays, it came and the state of emergency is gone. Why are we not sending Galamsey to us a state of emergency to get it done? If it's an existential threat, if it is killing us, now Chinese have pump action guns. That's what the story is saying. What else do they have in the forest? What else do they have?
Actually, the visuals
So the question I'm asking is that if it is, and we promised, remember, we were promised. The Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference went and pleaded with the president, media coalition
against Galamsey.
They're asking for some very, very simplistic, in fact, these are not even low-hanging fruits. These are ground-lying fruits. Repeal the law, and secondly, what? Declare emergency around waters. Why are we not doing it? Why are we not treating it as an essential threat? Why are we not matching the rhetoric with the action we promised? Because this was what was promised us. We were told we would do this. Today, we are not doing that. Today, we are actually allowing the women organizer of the NDC to go and do something like this. Why are we not doing it?
Why are you calling her women organizer?
She's a women organizer of the NDC, right?
No, but she has an official capacity. Well, I'm saying she's not going to the grounds in the capacity
I've not said that. I've not said that. I've not said that. I'm saying she's look, the point I'm making is this. Please, we are cheapening the Galamsey fight. We are rendering it useless. We are chipping it to a certain extent that it doesn't have the effect that it has again.
All right.
If it is an existential threat, if we agree with that, why can't we do these 2 simplest
All right,
things?
so that's a good question you're posing to government. Mr. Monu, do you agree that nobody's saying we're winning the Galamsey fight as we speak?
In the past, they were just wasting everybody's time. But now, in fairness to the Secretary Minister, Ama Kufuor, at least attempts are being made to tackle.
That's not what Erastus is saying.
We listened to you. Hold on.
It's Erastus in this
Dr. Zato, calm down. Mr. Moni has the floor now.
Yeah, attempts are being made to tackle Galamsey, but we will not be able to move the needle yet, and this is a fact. And the fight against Galamsey is like feeding a shark. Once to stop, the shark will eat it up. So it's an ongoing fight. So and now we've been told that new secretaries have been established, which will scale up the fight against Galamsey. So more action is demanded from all those who man that secretariat and the political will, which has been so conspicuous by its absence in the past. So the time has come for government to pluck up that political will and then tie that with action, and we'll see. Now, our water bodies, stability levels will all take shape.
Mr. Monu, you're a voice of authority, so I'm going to push you on this. Comparing the promises that were made to the Ghanaian in the lead-up to election 2024 from the current administration and the actions that we've seen right now, you yourself have said that it's like feeding the shark, but you've seen some efforts. In fact, we should include the EPA boss. She's also been doing great work, although I haven't caught wind of her in a while. Comparing that to the explanations that are coming in now, sometimes you hear that the understanding of what it would take or what it would mean to us if we repealed that LI 2462 completely versus what they understand it to be now, for which reason they were seeking to, I think it has materialized, the amendment, it has matured in Parliament. Yeah. Comparing that, what they said they would do, what we were asking for, versus what they're doing right now and the explanations they're giving to some of the actions. How do you rationalize it, and are you impressed?
I think we've taken a step forward. We've moved a notch higher in the fight against Galamsey. But, and the best repeating, that we are yet to move the needle as far as the fight is concerned.
Okay. So, Mr. Jabab, that comes to you then. Is it very difficult to repeal LI 2462? And is it impossible to declare a state of emergency, if not completely, but around our water bodies? Is that something that is doable? If so, when can we start to see that happen?
Repealing the LI 2462, you see that the process has begun. And you see, for example, it takes the political will of a leader. The issue of Galamsey has historical, tracking, if you want to put it. The issue of Galamsey has not started today. It started long ago. But let's look. The previous administrations, everyone has done one action or the other to show that sometimes they want to stop Galamsey. But we want to see the political commitment, the political will, the action. The action I can see is just from this very government, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Now, when was LI 2462 enacted? Was there any will? Was it not this very LI that gave some party chairmen the licenses and autonomy to mine in our forest reserves, destroying water bodies and other things, etc.? Now, the president is saying that if it is this LI that should be repealed, that will make the issue of Galamsey, that will save our environment, our forests, that will make us have decent mining, then I'm committed. Even people who made paid lip services, my presidency is on the line. Couldn't they repealing?
I think, like I established, we've moved past campaigning.
Yeah, sure.
We've moved past what we need, the rhetoric.
Yes.
We are in you are in government.
We are in government. That's why we're seeing that.
We asked for two things.
Yes.
A state of emergency. Why are you so excited?
Because I want to hear two very simple things.
We are asking that.
Ground lying fruits.
See, the truth of the matter is, I am still unable to drink water. I can't cook with water flowing from my taps because I know cyanide and it's non-biodegradable.
Yes.
I do not want to risk, diseases that I have no control over. We have seen documentaries of how babies are born with like it is a terrible situation. Talk less of the food that we eat from. We are Ghanaians. We like the banku and the fufu and the cassava, yam, plantain. You don't know where the water is coming from getting into it. Which means that in as much as the noise may have come down, the fight or the reason why we needed Galamsey to be stopped, it has not changed. So what would it take for this administration to say, okay, we've heard you. For the sake of our water bodies, the food we eat, let's declare a state of emergency just around all our water bodies so that at least we see that one thing we asked is being done. That's the question on the minds of many Ghanaians.
Can I high five
I'm not speaking for you.
I'm saying, can I high five you? There you go.
No, you see, these are legitimate concerns.
Honorable.
These are legitimate concerns. That's why I started by telling you that if you want to see where you see the political will, I was not doing politics.
Going out, Hanabisu going, matching Chinese people, they are moving and she says move. I don't see that as... I think these are... Sorry.
This Hanabisu go there.
No, I'm just giving you some of the
no, if you said Hanabisu going out, it means she went in the individual capacity.
No,
she went in
the task force. We are seeing these are all I'm
really?
saying.
That is what Galamsey fight has reduced.
Dr. Zato, can you let me host the show?
Please. I moved the way you said I shouldn't.
No, but the point I'm saying is seizing excavators, good call. But we were in this country where excavators got missing in thin air. We were never able to trace them. I've heard them say that they are tracking all the excavators at the port, but we also know that would not, at some point, some excavator will disappear from the port and enter some forest somewhere, and we will start, talking about how we've arrested them. But in order to deal with the problem head on, instead of the reactive measures we are taking, why don't we...
The problem head on is where you see the process to repeal the LI You see,
you have not started the process to repeal. You have amended.
I'm coming. You see the blue water, you know. Guards. All these are processes. You see, the Galamsey started not today. And to stop Galamsey will not just take you one night. That's what you need to know. You need to try several processes. So if you see the blue water gas, you see gas here and there, season of port, excavated at the port. When was the last time this was done? Excavators were never tracked at their point of clearance from ports. But if you now see all these initiatives, it means there is goodwill. Government is making a whole lot of processes, steps to combat Galamsey. And I want to assure you that Galamsey will surely be combated.
Can you assure me that you will repeal LI 2462?
Of course.
And can you assure me that me and the Ghanaians watching that at some point this administration will actually declare state of emergency on our water bodies?
When we get there, you see it.
And that's our time, gentlemen. Mr. Moni, I'll give you the final word on this matter, if you have any last words for us.
Today is a national day of prayer and thanksgiving. And,
yeah. And Cardinal Texan is in town.
Cardinal Texan is in town to officiate the prayer service. The Muslims will also have their turn in the afternoon. And I think as a nation, we need to prioritize prayer and thanksgiving. Cicero once said, and I quote, a thankful heart is not only the greatest virtue, but the parent of all other virtues. As a nation, we can look back and thank God for how far He's brought us from the hellish yesteryears and the brutish experiences we've endured over the years. So as a nation, we're making progress. Like a typical headmaster's report, what about more could be done? We have a long way to go to fix the issue of unemployment, issue of poverty, acidic poverty in large part of the society. Issue of accommodation. Many of those who are sleeping in ramshackle structures and all that. So we have a long way to go. So we need to pray. I said that prayer is the only force to which the Jehovah God yields. And prayer is, is like a currency which you can buy. You can buy employment, you can buy stability, you can buy peace. So as a nation, we should never devalue prayer.
Thank you, Mr. Moni. Mr. Jabab, final word. I mean, feel free to reflect on this National Day of Prayer.
National Day of Prayer is a very important thing. Our forefathers began the struggle for independence, the struggle for sovereignty of Ghana. And all was with God. See, Ghanaians have known God before the advent of the European, whatever you name it. So, like Mr. Moni rightly put it, we cannot do this just by our own might, just by our own strength, but with the help of God. And I think that coming with this National Day of Prayer is a call in the right direction, and we need to commend the leadership for that. And as we pray, as we seek for intervention of God, we must not forget one reason why we fought for independence. One reason why Ghana became a republic among the nations. And for that, lifted the flag of Ghana very high in the respect of other countries in the West African sub-region in 1960, that we always pledge to work very hard to ensure that Mother Ghana will stand tall, Mother Ghana will live up to Ghana that we all expect.
What about atheists and agnostics who don't believe in
You've never come to me, right?
Sorry, final word.
Yes, I was going to say, it's a good idea, it's a fantastic idea, it's good, at least we get one holiday, we can sit at home. But they are discriminatory. Christians are praying, Muslims are, what about traditionalists? My name is Jebunti, do you know where it comes from? It's a traditional name. What about traditionalists? What about them?
Are you ATR, African Traditional Religion?
I'm Catholic, actually. But I believe that African Traditional Religion...
But the day is declared for all Ghanaians.
No. But the president is going to...
They come to their own...
You can also pray. Let's get to a calabash of water.
The president will go to the mosque, probably. The president will go to the church, but he won't go to a shrine. The state will help the Muslims do their thing. The state will help Christians do their thing. They won't again. That's discrimination. Secondly, I want to use this day of national prayer to pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, that the 24-hour economy will be a success and that God will help people change their minds and deal with Galamsey.
Amen.
And that they will repeal the law
Thank you
and
so
that
much.
they will declare state of emergency. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Those who join us for the news review this morning, Dr. Joshua Jebuntie Zato. I got it right. Senior lecturer, policy and political analyst at the Department of Political Science at the University of Ghana, Legon. Of course, Nelson Kofi-Jabab is Member of Parliament for Karachi East constituency. And Mr. Afelmoni is former president of the GGA. Gentlemen, you all came in blue this morning. Thank you for making it a very good conversation. Stay with us. When we return, we get into our big stories, and you don't want to miss a beat on the AM show.